Hi, and welcome to Mommandants Moments. I'm Julie.
And I'm Stephanie.
And we are the better half of the watch.
Here we'll talk about real life, family, and commiserate a little on what it means to be a Coast Guard spouse. Thanks for joining us.
Those are cute shoes.
Oh, thank you. What are we talking about today, Julie?
Today we are talking about the things that really we only talk about on private message boards with other coastie spouses.
Okay. I like this.
Oh, yeah. So we've had some stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of made me realize that I don't really think that our loved ones, our members, our commands, even the big Coast Guard, actually understand what it's like to be a spouse.
I don't think they do. I think this, Julie, this is going to be one of those multi-podcast episodes, I think, because we could never really touch on everything in one 20-something minute episode. So we're going to have to this is probably going to be one of those topics that we circle back around on several times.
Yes. I feel it's touching base on it a lot.
Yes. And I think it's important for everybody to really, if you have a loved one who is in the service, you are going through this constantly in a cycle, periodically. Even just randomly, you are going to be experiencing what we're talking about today.
Yes. So I think we want new spouses to really understand what it is that being a Coast Guard spouse is about, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I don't think that they really have any kind of clue.
Right.
And I think it starts with, first of all, this is not just a job. This is not just a career. It's not just something that your spouse can really walk away from easily.
Right.
Because it's a calling, right? They've kind of answered this call to be of service and to call and serve their country and to really rescue people and to support that mission and to help people and to be of help.
Right. You have decided that your purpose is to save lives.
Yes. And so you've joined the Coast Guard to do that.
Exactly.
So it's not just a simple thing for them to walk away from.
Now, let's just, in a small tangent, say, what about the people who decide, well, I'm only going to do 4 years and then I'm going to walk away? Okay, there are those people, and that's fine. It doesn't matter what brings you here or how long you stay, but the point is, you're here.
Yes.
And we're talking to all of your spouse's girlfriends, whoever is listening, this is this podcast for you.
Yes, we're going to get extremely real. We are.
We're going to talk about the hard things today.
We're not going to be put on a happy face. It is not just have a positive attitude, because that's hard.
It is.
And sometimes I take offense to being told, well, just have a positive attitude.
Right.
Because I can tell you, when you have when you are vomiting and you have infant twins and your spouse is on duty and cannot leave because they have to wait for somebody to come relieve them.
Right.
That's a hard thing to see the positive side of.
Right.
And yeah, it may not last. It's all temporary. And overall, try and have a positive thing. But I think it's getting harder and harder for spouses to be positive.
Right.
When the Coast Guard is so out of touch with how we really feel.
And this could be for any military service, not just the Coast Guard.
Yes.
But we're speaking from a Coast Guard spouse perspective. So we'll just put an asterisk there.
But I am curious if other spouses feel that in other services.
Oh, I'm certain of it. We've lived in a military community with other services. And our Navy spouse friends, their husbands were on ships, cutters, boats, I don't even know what they call them, for months.
6 months or longer.
I have a friend who probably went through all 4 of her pregnancies without her spouse there for most of each one of them.
Right.
She's even given birth without her spouse there. At least once.
Right.
So this is not something unique to just the Coast Guard. I
think it's unexpected in the Coast Guard because we're so small.
Sure.
And because we don't do the things that they do, right? We don't do the things that the Navy does. We don't do those big, long things. it still makes it hard.
Absolutely.
So it's hard to, you have to be willing to give up a little bit of, your marriage, right?
Sure. Well,
because
more
there
than a
will
little.
be times when the Coast Guard comes first.
Yes. Yes, the mission does come first.
The mission always will come first.
Yes, and the needs of the Coast Guard always come first. That's what you signed up to do.
And our spouses learn that in whatever training they go through, whether it's through boot camp or OCS or the academy. That is drilled into them, the needs of the Coast Guard.
Right.
You are here to serve the needs of the Coast Guard. You don't question why things need to be the way they do. You just have to trust that the Coast Guard has your best interest, know what they need, will put you where you're needed, and you don't question it, right?
100%.
Which is frustrating.
Sure.
Because as a spouse, I think a lot of us are always saying, why?
Right.
Why?
We have needs. What
This
about our
makes
needs?
too much. This makes sense, but why would it not happen?
Right.
Right? I feel like we could run the Coast Guard better sometimes.
Right.
But then again, who knows?
Right. I think what we're going to start diving deep into here is the loneliness,
Yes.
the exasperation, the desperate nature that we feel sometimes, just feeling desperate for help, love, attention,
Yes.
reassurance, anything.
Yeah. A lot of times, Coast Guard spouses, I think, become very independent, almost to a fault.
Yeah, well, it's a necessity.
Because it's a necessity.
Absolutely.
The ones who have been doing this a long time
Right.
have learned to kind of adapt,
Right.
I guess, and just like be pissed off, but then move on.
Right.
Like I can't change it. Okay.
Right.
And do we file it away and just ignore it? Or do we forgive it? Or what do we do with that?
No, I think it builds.
I think it builds and
I
it
think
becomes very bitter.
I think that we put it in a box and we file it on a shelf, and then we don't realize how many boxes we're stacking on top of it of resentment, anger, frustration, confusion, fear, sadness. And then one day, all of a sudden, those boxes come
tumbling
crashing down, opening up, and now you have Pandora's everything just everywhere.
Which then it becomes, who is it directed towards?
Right.
Do you direct it towards the Coast Guard, or do you direct it towards the easy target in your spouse?
Yep.
Because if you direct it towards your spouse, that's when it becomes
toxic. And
that's when you get like
yeah.
bad, like needing therapy, needing marriage counseling or divorce. Like some people just are like, no, this is not what I signed up for.
Right.
And I hate the saying when people are like, well, she knew what she signed up for. No, because we don't talk about it.
We never do. We always say, don't worry, it'll get better. You'll adapt. You'll feel better soon.
Yeah.
Find your tribe. You know, all of these little cliches.
And
yeah. But what are we really doing? Are we minimizing how people feel?
Absolutely.
And are we allowing this cycle of just mental health degradation to continue?
Absolutely. And if we complain about it, right, it comes across as just a bitch session.
Right.
When and heaven forbid the command gets a bitch session.
No, they can't.
They can't have that because, like, let's not address the fact that your spouses are the ones who are in your members' ears, complaining and,
of course,
like frustrated and complaining, and then making your members frustrated and complain
100%.
and unhappy. Let's not talk about that fact.
Right.
Oh no, heaven forbid you address that. The spouses are supposed to be quiet, be positive, and not question anything.
Right.
Like Stepford wives.
That's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they look to us to be unintentionally, because they have to be that at work. They're looking for that sort of maybe consistency at home where we just nod, smile, and agree.
Yeah.
In our own way to please or placate our loved one. And man, yeah, sure, high five if you can do that. But what are you really feeling? What are you really experiencing? And are you slowly going crazy?
Yeah, are you doing a disservice by not talking about it?
Right.
Because And don't get me wrong, the Coast Guard has afforded us amazing opportunities.
Absolutely.
Like, I probably would not have my kids if we had not joined the Coast Guard.
100%. I'm with you.
So it's afforded us really great opportunities, and I am grateful for those. But I am frustrated with, and it's frustration that goes along with the rank and like the whole up and down, like what comes down, what goes up, what's allowed.
Okay.
And kind of, I'm really frustrated right now with how spouses are expected to act.
Right. Okay.
That's my frustration right now.
Right. Okay. So let's unpack that, Julie.
And whether anyone in the Coast Guard has a right to tell us, well, you can't do that.
Oh.
Like, yeah, I'm going there today. That's
I wish we were on video today.
That's the salty mood I'm in right now.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so if we were on video, there's a gleam in Julie's eye today.
Yeah, I have had, and excuse my language, but I have thrown it all in the fuck it bucket.
Yes.
And I am like, I don't care anymore.
Okay.
Like, I'm to the point where I don't care. Will I support my spouse? And yes, absolutely, I will support John. Will I complain? Probably.
Right.
But I also know where my frustration is. And
Right.
it's not with John.
No, of course not. I think that is a beautiful thing that you are able to define where your frustration is, because I think that's part of the gray area that we get in. And what we were talking about just a few minutes ago, which was when I am angry, resentful, hurt, sad, where does that frustration go? And it's typically at your spouse. But is it your spouse's fault? No. I would say maybe not necessarily. Not no, but
Right.
maybe not necessarily. In this particular situation, and I know exactly with which you are speaking, I think that this is 100% a result of where we are and who we are surrounded by.
Yes.
And I think it could be the same case for anybody. I think you feel it because your spouse is higher up. Mm-hmm. You feel it differently than someone whose spouse wouldn't be quite as high. So I'm trying to tread lightly.
Yes.
We lower down folk down here in the...
But I think there's still a frustration even for enlisted personnel here.
100%.
There is still a frustration.
100%. And I think it looks different on these different levels for
Yes.
sure. So let's start with enlisted members. Let's talk about, and not just the specifics of what we're going through here, but let's go back to our global, what are people feeling out there? You and I see Facebook posts in spouse groups for military spouses, and I'm not going to name specifically which group in Facebook it is, but you have all seen the posts where there are desperate anonymous people posting, "Help me, I am in a low place.
Yeah.
Help me, I did not know what I was signing up for. Help me, I thought I could do this, but I can't." And there's no shame in that. No. There's no shame in not having any clue what you were signing up for when you married this person who is in the military.
Yeah.
We all think we can do things. We all think optimistically, I love this person. We can make it through anything. The two of us together are stronger than the two of us apart. Hey, hold my hand. We're going to walk through life and face every challenge together. And then reality hits and you're like, my spouse is never home.
Yeah.
What do I do? I'm all alone.
I'm a single parent, essentially.
In a new place. I have no tribe. I have no family. Maybe I have family, but I don't get along with them.
Right.
I am at my wit's end, and I just can't do another minute of it.
Right.
Now what? Now what do you do?
And I think we have to make it okay that when you are responding to comments like that, to say, it sucks.
Yes.
And you are absolutely right to feel everything you're feeling. We all feel exactly how you're feeling.
Yes.
We all have the frustrations, you know.
You are not alone.
You're not alone. And is there ways to help with that? I think starting by acknowledging that, yeah, you absolutely feel everything is valid. Everything is
100%.
valid that you feel. And then maybe pointing out, like, if you really need to talk to somebody, if you're super frustrated, there are places that you can call, right?
Right.
CG support. We talk about it every week.
Right.
CG support is a great tool. They have a new tool where you can call 24/7.
Yes.
And just vent
Yep.
and complain to someone who will listen.
That's exactly right. And there's also an app called Doctor on Demand.
Yep.
You can put your information, your medical insurance information in there, and you will be able to find doctors, literally any kind of doctor, from a wellness doctor all the way up to mental health doctor.
Yeah.
Even ones who can prescribe medication. And get on their calendar and have a routine person that you speak with on a FaceTime video.
Yeah.
Just through this app, who takes TRICARE or whatever insurance.
And it's okay to be on medication for stuff. Sometimes you need the help.
Of course.
I mean, if you have a sinus infection, you're going to go on antibiotics. There's no...
Absolutely.
It's no different.
Right?
So I don't think, like, medication is not a stigma if you need it for mental health.
Right. So we're going to say that one more time. Doctor on Demand, CG support. You can find help when you need it. And if you don't know where to begin, call your work life office.
Absolutely.
They can help you. You can go through, I know we joke about this, but Sea Legs has information on where you can get help. You can also call TRICARE.
TRICARE or the Work Life website.
Right.
I don't have it right now.
No, but you can Google. You can absolutely Google it.
And Coast Guard Work Life.
Most of these things do not go through your member.
No.
Your military member. So none of this is going to...
The CG support is all anonymous.
Right. So is Doctor on Demand.
Yeah. And so, but with CG support, you get 12 sessions with a therapist that no one knows about. Not even TRICARE. Per topic, but not even TRICARE knows that you have talked to these people.
Exactly.
So it's completely safe. It's a definitely safe space to talk if you're frustrated.
Yes.
So
that's step one.
Yeah.
Well, I guess step one is defining that you need help.
Right.
And not being afraid to admit it.
Yeah. And the only reason that I would say it might be a better option to talk to CG support or to a therapist or to a doctor or someone who is outside of your friend circle, who is outside of your family, is because when you start talking to your family or your friends, they of course are going to be on your side. Generally, they're going to be, you may have some friends who are like, hold up, what about this? And may play devil's advocate.
Sure.
But overall, they're going to be on your side. But you also are then putting what you were complaining, what you're feeling and your frustrations in their mind, and you would not want your friends to treat your spouse different.
Exactly. Because
you're frustrated at a situation that is really because of something at work.
Exactly. Yeah, unless you have a bestie that understands how to separate those two things. Just because I am venting about Mike does not mean that my problem is with Mike.
Right.
And your bestie can still look at Mike and go, okay, I understand that he is just doing the best that he can.
Right. He's not a total jerk that I now hate.
Mike, we're not talking about you, I promise. Yeah. You just happened to be the name that popped in my head. Love you so much.
We love you, Mike.
So first defining, I need help. This is bigger than I am.
Yeah.
And where can I go? Then CG support.
Right.
TRICARE and Doctor on Demand. And we have about 5 more minutes we can talk on this episode, which is why part 2 will be our next episode.
Yes.
But I think it's important that we define, yes, it's okay to not be okay.
Right.
Everything you're going through is absolutely normal.
Yes, absolutely.
We have all felt like this, either one time or a zillion times.
Yes.
And everyone is going through their own battle. And of course, the cliche of you never know what battles people are going through when you encounter them in the street, right?
Right.
We see people smiling and laughing and look like they're having the best time of their lives. But what battles are they facing and fighting and struggling with every single moment of the day?
And I really want us to start making it okay to be before we try to fix it, acknowledge that it sucks.
Yes.
It sucks. Because I think sometimes people just need to hear, like, yeah, that really sucks.
Yeah.
And here's what I personally did to fix it. But you need to know that it sucks. It may get better. It's definitely going to change.
Right.
Because everything changes with the Coast Guard.
Yes.
So it's going to change. Your situation is going to change. But at the time when you're in it, it sucks. And it sucks hard.
Yep.
And I'm sorry that it sucks. Like,
We are sorry.
I wish I could give you a hug and fix it.
Julie's a hugger.
I am a hugger. But I also know that sometimes that's just not possible.
Right.
Sometimes you just have to endure it.
Yes.
Like, there's no way to fix when your spouse has to go and is on a certain schedule. There's no way to fix that.
Right.
Short of them leaving the Coast Guard.
Right.
So, yeah. And I think we have talked about it. Like, when we started the podcast, it was just about the podcast. But I think now we feel more like we want to move towards being more than just the podcast and being,
of course,
and changing up some stuff. So I think we're going to add to our website
some
links to these sites for you and talk about that too. And I think we're going to start adding like more to the website.
I love this. Yes, we just started writing down our little thoughts and bullet points on what we can do to help everybody.
Yeah.
And not just the 20 minutes that we have your ear, but also while you're in the bathroom feeling small and sad, what help can we provide there? Or you're feeling great and you want to laugh along with something else that we found, you can go to our website, mommandantsmoments.com.
Yes.
And
I want to build a community for that's very real and that kind of gets it. And
absolutely.
It's service, like for any service.
Yes.
We want all the Marine spouses who, bless them, they scare me.
Well,
they're tough. They're like...
Yeah, well, I mean, they have to be, right?
They have to be, but Marine spouses are like next level, I feel like. But like any service.
All of us
have these struggles and frustrations. And yes, we can go to Facebook, but what if you don't use Facebook?
Right.
Right.
Or Instagram.
Or what if or Instagram, or what if you don't want to put it on Facebook? You know, not everybody feels comfortable putting all of their stuff out in the social media realm,
right,
for everybody to see. And I think that's why they do it anonymously a lot of times.
Exactly.
So,
and then for every one post you read of somebody asking for help, there are probably 3,000 billion quadrillion people crying in silence.
Yes.
And so this podcast is for all of us. Okay, join us on our next podcast where we keep talking about this. We're going to dig a little deeper and get a little more vulnerable here. I like it. Hey, thanks for taking a moment with us, the Mommandants. You can find us on our website at mommandantsmoments.com.
We also have social media, so you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest, all with Mommandants Moments.